Hi, my name is Hala Al-Hafiz Kapani. I am the Bridging Coordinator at Richmond Family Place. At Richmond Family Place, we support families with children under 6 and who lives in Richmond. The Bridging program supports the refugees with children. So our focus on the attachment and parenting and supporting parents with their parenting skills. Today I will talk about the immigrant children experience and the refugees experience settlement from the perspective of social and emotional development. The immigrant children, if we're going to define it, it is those who were born outside of Canada or have at least one parent who was born outside of Canada. The difference between immigrant children and refugees children, the immigrant children, their families who decided to come to Canada and they had a choice to leave their country and come. So they were settled back home and then they decided to move. While the refugees children, unfortunately, their families, they didn't decide to come or to move from their country. They're being forced to move and under very traumatic circumstances. What we know, children development is influenced by their parents' feelings, experiences, transition, and the surrounding environment. There is a misconception saying that children adapt easily into a new culture, language, and society much easier than their parents. But the fact is, children are more at risk than their parents. Why is that? Because adult or parents will have already developed a kind of resiliency, coping skills to deal with the changes and losses they deal or they see or find when they move to a new country, while children still in the process of their resiliency development. That is why they are more at risk than their parents. Resiliency is the skills that humans form based on their own development. Resiliency can differ from a person to another based on their own experiences. A healthy attachment, a guidance relationship that walk the child through social and emotional development help the person to develop a good level of resiliency. Some of the examples of how we support the social and emotional development of a child that we need to support them through a difficult situation, such as sharing, problem-solving techniques, how to deal with their anger, how to talk, how to communicate, how to play with others, how to ask questions, how to experience different situations, and take them outside, create different opportunities for the children to explore and learn more, to love learning, to be there for them, and to support them in all the way to success. A part of children development is to understand self. They connect their identity to their parents' feelings, relationship, and to the surrounding environment. So when a child leaves behind his home, friends, extended families, who he used to see every day and understand, and come to a new country with a new place, with the new people, with the new faces, new language, everything different around him, plus the stress his parents are experiencing. All these facts can cause a child to have a culture shock. Culture shock will see and it will show in the child behavior. So he can become aggressive or passive. He might doesn't like to share. He might doesn't like to play with peers. He might be more clinged to his parents. Okay, to understand the needs of refugees children and immigrant children, we need to understand how they came here. So the immigrant children, their parents had the choice to sit together and make a decision, and they have a plan. So they plan their journey, kind of. Yes, when they come here, they might face a lot of differences, misunderstanding, or culture shock, as we talked about before, but they already expecting that, and they have that in mind. While the refugees' children, just to think about their experience, I know a family who had only 24 hours to evacuate their country. So the impact on their parents and children, it's I don't think I will be able to describe it because it is beyond my capacity to understand. But what I understand, it's a traumatic experience for both of them. They couldn't plan, they couldn't think, they just ran to survive. So safety, when safety get hit for a person, they have only two ways, either to fight or to flee. And this is what these families are experiencing. So to come with all this experience to somewhere, and they didn't choose the country even, they've been chosen. So they didn't have any plan. They don't know what is being expected. So when they've been chosen, yes, for them, it's a new start. It's a wonderful start. But what they came with, it does affect parent and children to settle in a new country. During their early years, children are developing at very rapid pace. Their brain is forming important links that stimulate language, connection to culture, and an emerging sense of self. At a very critical time in their development, immigrant and refugee children are faced with all the changes brought on by settlement at the same time. They have not developed yet coping skills to help them understand and deal with the tremendous changes that they are facing. Children's settlement can take years and is not always fully successful. Children are strongly and directly affected by their own transitions and the settling challenges of their families. Some of these challenges are immigrant and refugees children facing the loss of culture and language. Children rely on their families for feelings of security and may suffer because of all the change happening to the family. A loss of culture and language can affect their sense of security, identity, and their feeling of being supported. Difficult housing situations may also cause stress. A child might be told to not make a noise if a family shares living space with others. They may face physical changes, learning how to take the bus when it is raining, learning how to wear different clothes when it is for a different weather. They may have restriction of their play space. The loss of extended family is another challenge. May affect the child's identity and self-worth. With these losses, children experience culture shock. Moving to a new country, to a new culture, new place, new language can be very traumatic for children. Even child born in Canada to immigrant or refugee family may experience culture shock when they enter a child care program for the first time. To support immigrant and refugee children with their settlement needs, considering their development needs, we need to maintain programs for the whole family, like the Early Years Bridging Program, where it creates a safe place to share parents and children ideas and perspectives. Support building parents and children identities to give them sense of belonging. These programs will give parents an opportunity to think about their child's interest and it will enhance the importance of spending times with them. It will support a healthy attachment between parent and child. This often leads to more involvement in their child's play, which will support each child to reach their own potential through supporting their social and emotional development. Staff in these kinds of programs can support immigrant and refugee children with their social and emotional development through building a trusting relationship, allowing time for children to observe other children, to model play, communicating, and other social skills. Children learn from watching others and through positive guidance. When we allow opportunities to parents and children to share, the program will be more inclusive. And when parents are asked about their child's interest, They may spend more time with their child and place more focus on them at home. This often leads to more involvement in their child's interest and play. And newcomer children often feel powerless. They are more confused and traumatized by their many losses. They feel uncomfortable with strangers. They may become fearful and anxious and reject peers who approach them. They may become very aggressive with others or very passive. All these signs are coming from the perspective of surviving into a new environment and culture. To support them, we need to allow time to adjust, to watch others and walk them through difficult social situations. We need to empower parents with their parenting skills and having them involved with a plan for gradual separation. Programs need to have staff speaks the child's language to help the child to play with other by modeling verbal and nonverbal social skills. And this will support parents to gain and learn different techniques and skills to speak and guide their child within programs and outside the program. We need to support the family to maintain their home language. Researchers show the importance of keeping home language and its positive impact on the relationship between parents and child. The best thing a program can do to improve the child settlement experience is to allow time and meet the family where they are at. Some tips for any worker who works with refugees and new immigrant children. Number one, I can say get to know parents and children and allow time to build a healthy relationship. Ask questions and make sure this is what they need. Support them to identify their strengths and get to know their culture. Include activities related to their culture. Stick to a routine to support parents and children with the transition to different activities. This will help them feel comfortable and will help them accumulate understanding of the program and activities. Create opportunities to share stories, to get to know other families, and to connect them to the wider community. Empower them, believe in their strengths, and celebrate their success and achievements. Encourage them to ask questions and to try new things. Meet them where they are at. Don't rush it, it will come. And the last point I have, smile, be positive, and be there for them to go through their cycle of settlement.